And this one would not have probably been fifth on my list, but I've watched it a lot in the past year, and actually my appreciation for it has gone up quite a bit. And it is Jason Goes to Hell, which I know is a lot of people's least favorite. I just did a whole goddamn documentary about how a lot of people can't stand this fucking movie, and I get it. And I didn't like it at all either when I first saw it. When I went to the theater, I walked out going, "What the fuck was that?" It's like, when did Jason become a body hopper? And why, where has he been? Why isn't there any connection to the other films? There was no continuity whatsoever. And it's like, what was with the shaving? What was with all this shit? I just walked out very confused. But when I went back to watch it again later and I'd left all my expectations and all that shit behind, I was like, well, you know what this is? This is just another storyteller doing his own riff on Jason Voorhees. And if you just accept it as its own thing, and not try to fit it in necessarily to the other films, it's actually really well made. It's got some terrific actors in it. It's really creative. The kills are fantastic, especially the tent kill. That was another thing. In the theater, most of that shit's gone. And that was the first Friday the 13th movie that had an official unrated version available on home video. So I rented that and went like, holy shit, look at all the stuff that's back in this. And, I think it's really well shot. I think it's got a lot of really interesting ideas. And again, if you just view it as its own riff on the Jason Voorhees legend, I think there's a lot to recommend it. I really do. And I have come to really appreciate it more. And, and I'm not just saying that because I did a documentary about it. You'll notice it's not number one on my list all of a sudden. So I guess...
what's his name? Clayton Duke or something like that.
Oh, Creighton Duke. Yeah.
Yeah. If that was Tommy Jarvis, I would be fine.
Well, originally it was going to be.
Really?
He wanted to use Tommy Jarvis, but his character didn't come over in the rights deal with New Line. He wasn't allowed to use Tommy Jarvis.
See, that would have made way more sense because,
that was the original intention. But I like Creighton Duke anyway because Stephen Williams has so much fun with the character. So it's just like, and I would have liked to have seen that character come back somehow. Bring him back. I mean, I know he supposedly died at the end, but no one dies in these fucking movies. So it's just like, bring him back, have him show up in other films. I would have liked the character, the agent Marcus, the woman from the beginning of the film. Have her, Julie Michaels, have her character come back.
Oh man, yeah, bring her back.
That's the thing. What I did love being in the theater when that opening sequence happened, because that's like the prototypical Friday the 13th sequence. A girl alone in a cabin, Jason Voorhees chases her through the woods, and then all of a sudden there's a SWAT team, and Jason blows up before the beginning of the credits. And I remember people in the theater going, "The fuck."
Yeah, I think that's the biggest problem with that movie is that it was just too different than what
especially
people expected at the time.
The end too, which is like all those fucking beams and shit are coming.
Oh yeah, it's really I mean, again, this is such a different experience.
How was it, real quick?
I think it was a little better than that, but whatever.
No, that's a pretty good approximation.
Some comets and shit coming out of Jason Bulls.
But no, it was.
That hasn't aged that well either, really. But,
look,
I kind of like when it comes to the New Line movies, Jason Goes to Hell's for sure my favorite.
Same.
I saw it twice in a theater as a kid. I loved it then. I think it's okay. Some of the stuff that they just throw out there randomly is kind of. But I mean, they had to do what they had to do. I guess they didn't have the rights to. Like you were saying,
there were some
for a lot of the
limitations that he had also from the producer Sean Cunningham, who didn't want certain things in it, and he. So there was a lot of things that he had to adjust accordingly. But again, that movie, watching it now, it's like, if you just go into it as, if Jason's a campfire story, and everyone has their own story that they've either heard or made up over the years, this is just another person telling their tale of Jason Voorhees. And if you look at it that way, which is I think the way you should look at it, you can have a good time with it. I mean, but again, if you don't like it, you don't like it. It is an out there film, and it goes in some very interesting and very out there directions. It's not going to, Adam in making the film he made guarantee that certain people were going to respond to it and that certain people were just not going to be able to respond to it. That's just the way it works. Whenever you take chances like that, not everybody's going to be on board with it. And that's fine. That's the way it goes. So that's how I feel on Jason Goes to Hell anyway.
But I agree. I like Jason Goes to Hell more now than I did when I first saw it. So I feel like I gained appreciation for it.
Well, the thing about the documentary is it covers the making of Jason Goes to Hell, but it's not really about that as much as you might think. It's much more about Adam Marcus and him making his first movie. It's about a filmmaker making his first movie with a genre that he loves and a film series that he loves, and then all the pitfalls that come.
He was like a very young filmmaker, too.
He was very young. He was in his early 20s. I mean,
that's
he was
insane.
A kid, you know, and so there were just a lot of things that happened as a result of that he wasn't ready for, and things that he was ready for. And you just really get to know him over the course of the documentary. So it's really about him. And we use Jason Goes to Hell to tell his story. And I think now would actually be a good time to show the trailer, actually.
Yeah. We'll do like a Q&A afterwards, too. Because this has been a long time in the making, right?
Several years, yeah. And the pandemic also kind of stepped in and kind of fucked things up for a while for everybody, but certainly for this as well.
Cool. So this is, The Hearts of Darkness, the making of The Final Friday. Jason Goes to Hell, boss.
Hey, camera marker.
Yay, we're making a movie, and it's a Friday 13th movie, and Jason Voorhees. This is freaking awesome.
Marker.
Here we go.
Adam Marcus, get on out here.
You know, I was 23 when I made this movie. Why the fuck would anyone let a 23-year-old direct a franchise movie, right?
He was a child. He was a baby. He was like damn good director, knew his business.
Adam had just this great energy about it.
It was a tight schedule and tight budget.
We shot 1,000 setups in 30 days.
Blood everywhere.
Please! How was that? It was fucking gorgeous. Okay.
My favorite kill in the movie is the split body.
Look, if you're gonna die, go big or go home. Dying while having an orgasm. I mean, as an actor, I was like, that's like a steak dinner.
That's some crazy shit. I knew we would get one shit in there.
That makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress sticking a hot dog to a donut.
What does this line mean? What the hell am I saying?
To this day, I have no fucking clue.
And action!
It wasn't even a discussion. It was, Kane Hodder's going to do the movie. Well, yeah, he is Jason. The guy has kill tattooed on the inside of his lip.
There it is.
That's Kane.
People probably roll their eyes and stuff, but I honestly feel like I was born to play Jason. Now get out of the shot before I fucking kill you.
Action!
When I saw the bust of me in the makeup trailer, I was a little weirded out.
I've got a black tongue going out of my mouth 6 feet.
Everybody's on set going, yeah, that's a penis, you know.
That's shocking.
The initial reaction was not great.
It was not love.
It was the worst garbage in the world.
I was actually disappointed.
I've had 3 people wish me ass cancer. Wow, man, why is it always about my ass?
Whether the fans liked it or not, here we are, all these years later, still talking about it.
If you don't like it, you can go to hell.
This isn't the movie for nuance. You know?
Cut!
All right.
I'm excited for that. I'm really excited
Great
for that.
trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Again, I'm very proud of the documentary, and it was something that I came into late in the process. It was because they had another director originally, and they parted ways. And Peter Brackey, who's a good friend of mine, he and a group of us would play Friday the 13th the game every night for like 5 years, and that's how I got to know Peter. And Adam was looking, and Peter was also involved in this. He wrote all the interviews and conducted all the interviews and was a producer on the project. And he recommended me to Adam, and he asked me if I would. And initially I wasn't sure, because it's like, well, I self-generate all my own stuff, and I'm always there from the very beginning to the end. I wasn't sure about stepping into something that was, already on its way, but I thought, well, it might be interesting. And I looked at some of the interviews and I came up with an idea on how to kind of shape the thing, and Adam responded to it, and I got along with Adam like a house on fire immediately. So it was just like, well...
It did screen at Texas Frightmare?
It did. It did 3 weeks ago, whenever
awesome.
Frightmare was. Yeah, and it did it went over really well. And it's also screened at Fright Fest in Glasgow. It had a big premiere there. They're doing a screening of it tonight in LA at the Gardenia Theater. And that'll be going on, should be actually going on right about now, actually.
So, as far as the physical copies, I mean, originally it was like a fan-funded thing.
It was an indie, yeah. They raised money through, I think, Indiegogo.
Are they getting copies first, I guess?
Yeah, yeah, they will. They will be getting, we'll be giving an allotment out for that to get sent out before the street date. I don't know how long. It won't be like 6 months or anything like that. But they will definitely get their copies first.
Do you have an idea on street dates?
No specific street dates, but the documentary's done. The extras are all done. The packaging, we've already got the key art and everything done. So we're hoping to have it out around Halloween time. But that is not an official announcement. But
and yes, Nubbins, it'll be a red shirt release, which is cool.
Yes, it will. Yeah. But since it's all done... that means that there's really not. I mean, all the extras are done. It's gonna be like 2 hours worth of extras on there, and then the documentary, and then so there's not a whole lot really left to do for it. We just take the masters, get it. We can.
I gotta ask.
Where will it be distributed through? Like just any retailers, like
it'll be like it'll be on the Synapse site, and it'll be on
Synapse site too.
Yeah, okay. I imagine it'll be something that everyone will be able to get easily.
Honestly, though, like when you started doing this and started making some of these extra features, and then you started doing some expanded stuff like as bonus, did you ever see yourself doing a feature-length documentary on Jason Goes to Hell?
No, especially after like Crystal Lake Memories, and his name was Jason. All the others, it's like I felt like that was a territory. And then Scream Factory did its own Blu-ray of Jason Goes to Hell, so I felt like, well, what else? And when I first heard about the project, I was one of the first backers on the project, interestingly enough. But I part of me was just like, well, what's the story here? If it's just the making of Jason Goes to Hell, hasn't that story been kind of told? But when I watched the interviews that they shot, especially Adam's interview, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, this isn't really about the making of a Friday the 13th movie. We're using that to tell Adam Marcus's story. And that's what drives the documentary. That's what I was interested in more than anything else.
I want all these people to click everything they're supposed to click.
You haven't been liking them, you haven't been subscribing to them, you haven't clicked the bell or notification or anything like that.
Folks, why don't you click the like button?
Do you hate us? Do you not want to see us succeed?
Why don't you click the heart button?
Is this something that you have against our particular show?
Why don't you subscribe?
You should click on one of them buttons right now if you want us to continue to breathe greatness into your life.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit Radio shirts. You can get Last South on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Special thanks goes out to our supporters on Patreon. You know what kind of stuff you can get on Patreon? We'll start at only $1 a month.
What's that?
Access to every Dead Pit show since 2005. We got almost 200 fan commentaries that we've done over the decades.
Here's what other fucking Patreons do. They're like, hey, give us money and then we'll let you see a video early that we're going to release like a fucking week from now, and then that's all we're going to give you. Meanwhile, we have a literal jukebox full of songs, thousands of reviews. I don't even know how many shows are up on there now that we've done over the years.
Hundreds of thousands.
You need to figure this out now and subscribe to us on Patreon and YouTube and Instagram and help us to 1 million. The road to 1 million subscribers starts today.
So DeadPit on Patreon.com. Join today. Tiers start at only $1, but I'd recommend at least the $10 tier.
You can do 50. The stock market's crashing around us, folks, but send us money.